Right. Oh, blimey, you literally arrived as I've hit start.
Oh, fuck yeah. Go me.
Congratulations. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another political recap stream. I now need to put Trups in there. Boom. There he is. He's actually here. Say hello,
I
Trups.
am. Hello, Trups.
How is Trups?
Trups is actually feeling a bit accomplished.
Oh.
I've been working a little bit later than normally, but I finally made a breakthrough in the efforts that I was doing, so that I finally actually have something building and working.
Congratulations.
And it's so satisfying.
Well, that's fantastic news. Hello to Have We Left Yet? The Divine Potato, love the name. The Lovebirds, Tiger Lily, Cyrene, Karma, I think I see you there, yes, Angry Scotsman, Take Out Joe, Jane, Adam and Ventilo. Oh, and Attacker Gamer Judas. Hope you're all having a nice Thursday. It's been an interesting week, hasn't it? I've been
Yeah, actually.
I've been keeping... Hello, Mitch and Hannibal. Hope you're all well. I've been, as many would know on this channel, I've been keeping myself busy by making videos every day here now as well. Which is actually quite fun until I got hit with a copyright claim, which I was worried for a second it would meant a copyright strike, which would stop me streaming. Because I used a clip from The Guardian's YouTube channel. Now the clip was actually... It's a clip of Lisa Forbes, the newly elected MP for Peterborough, giving her speech. I wanted it to be played fully, which is like 35 seconds. Hello, Wristy Gymnast. And the reason for this was because she takes shots, direct shots at other parties, all the while saying we need to be united when she has a majority win of 683 votes. Granted, Peterborough didn't have a very good turnout anyway, since her win was like 11,000 votes. And, oh, hello, Peter Edwards. Since Peterborough is a city with quite a decent-sized population, that's not a good result for Labour. But since I got the copyright strike, I've decided... I've pulled the video, and I'm just going to cut that bit out, and I'm just going to insert a little clip in the middle of some spastic dancing with the words, "The Guardian claimed the original version of this, so this is what you get instead." I'm just going to find...
Are you going to put Crab Rave?
Sorry?
Put in Crab Rave.
DM that to me.
Oh,
I don't know what that is.
it's the song that PewDiePie was using.
Oh, right. Well, I'll put that in. And I'll also be releasing a different video tomorrow as well on that channel about... where is it? Oh, yeah! The Cuck Party are being threatened with legal action unless they change their name. So I'm going to do a video on that, because there's a bit more to it than just that. And I also want to try and come up with an acronym for the new name I've got for them, which I'll tell you about when we finish, because I think it's clever. That coupled with the ongoing campaign here for new prime ministers in this country it's proving quite funny. It's getting interesting. We finally got some results for the first vote, and it's going to shape out to be quite an interesting next couple of weeks. What about in America? Anything interesting going on there?
So I just made a video about this yesterday.
Not the sterilization thing, was it?
But William Barr got voted on in contempt of court for refusing to give up information regarding the 2020 U.S. Census.
Hey, what?
So there's a question that has been a little bit, controversial to go on to the U.S. Census in 2020. And that is the question of whether or not you are a citizen.
Right.
And this has been the Trump administration's push to try and get that on the census, and the Democrats want to not have them put that on the census because it's racist.
I'm sorry, hang on, what?
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you have the same thought process as I did.
Oh, no, Ah, right.
So because of how our electoral college system works, if your population is over a certain amount, you get technically more representatives for that area, because that means that you have a higher voting population in that area.
That's why Alaska has
However,
so little.
what?
Isn't that why Alaska has so little?
Right, it's a large state, but a very little population
Yeah.
in comparison, versus like
New
New
York.
Jersey, which has a high population and a very small area.
Yeah.
So if the census goes out and illegal immigrants don't answer the "Are you a citizen?" question for fear of being, having a knock on their door, then it's possible that California can lose representatives. Not to mention gerrymandering of the districts, the splitting up of districts to, lean one way or the other, could impact the Democrats in a negative way.
Oh no. How will they ever recover?
Maybe have actual fucking citizens vote for you.
Well, that was an argument I remember from the 2016 campaign, was that people were saying there's slogans that basically there were people, Democrats themselves, conceding that a lot of their voters were coming from from illegal and some legal and some illegal immigrants, which I thought was quite amusing because it was a big sign on a piece of cardboard that said if we don't allow these people in, we won't have more Democrat voters or something to that effect. I remember, I wish I could remember it. I'd have to go
It's also
find
illegal,
it.
by the way.
Sorry,
It's also illegal.
but
If you're
attacked.
not a citizen, you're not allowed to vote. And if you win because of illegal votes, you technically are not the rightful winner.
That is true, but unfortunately, there are enough issues of people claiming foul play with many elections.
Well,
And hello,
people are
Tiger
finding
Lily.
out information as of recently.
Very true, very true. Also, I didn't know this until Tiger Lily put it in the chat. Is it really your president's birthday tomorrow?
Maybe.
Yeah, she said it is. That's fantastic, of course. How old is he now? 75 or something?
He is 72. He was born in
Oh,
1946.
72. Oh, right, blimey, he's younger than I thought he was. I thought he was 74 when he was elected. I've lost count of years, okay.
That's all right. I forgot what day it was.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's been a busy week
Yes,
for
his birthday
everyone.
is tomorrow.
It's been a busy week. Aren't you
His birthday is really close to mine. I don't like that.
His birthday is tomorrow then, is it?
Yeah. His birthday is 8 days before mine.
Oh, right, well. We'll remember that, maybe.
What is the current con leadership situation?
We're going to get to that.
In the UK or America?
Conservative current leadership situation. We'll get to that soon. Hello, Prospero. Do you think... Okay, so what was the result of this William Barr thing?
Oh, so the House Oversight Committee, the one that Elijah Cummings was the chairman of, he was the one, remember when Cohen got into a big spat and
Yeah.
the black chairman was the one to basically put down the racist idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that committee.
Oh no, the
They
party
found
lines.
Barr and the Commerce Secretary in contempt for
Again.
not providing them with sufficient evidence, despite them providing them over 14,000 documents and testifying for over 7 hours.
Okay, so what I hear there is we have a goalpost, and what we're going to do is when we don't see what we want to see, we're going to move it. Hello, Sir Blue-Footed Booby. Hope you are well. And Green Pony, who I didn't say hello to earlier. Hello. I think this is kind of tragic. I don't know. Obviously, I did not know about this because we didn't have a chance to. I did notice you, Mitch. Shut up. Love you too, babe.
Fucking savage.
Yeah, I know. We didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance to look at this, but I would love to look at it a bit more in depth. But what were the 14,000 documents he gave them in the first place, and how was that not sufficient?
So
Based
a
on their
Democratic aide
parameters.
said that a lot of them were public documents, they were redacted,
Right.
or they were just not related.
Okay. I would love to know then what they think was not available. In the
Right,
sense,
that was my question. When I first read that, I was like, so is it that you didn't is it that they're withholding things from you, or you just didn't get what you wanted and you're upset?
I can't.
It feels very much like they just wanted to find something to put Barr in contempt for, since they couldn't put him in contempt for the Mueller thing.
Okay, so it feels like a setup, in the sense that they couldn't get what they wanted the first time. They're now looking for something else to try and hello Raymond McCoy, memes of destruction, and Wandering Lisa. I hope you're all well. To try and denigrate him, tear him down, his integrity, shred it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's the Democratic place, almost to the T.
Was it? If you don't mind me, if you did have a chance to look at this, do you know if the voting was down party lines again?
It was 25-14.
What was it? Was the committee majority Dem though?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they were. There was never. Hello, Echo. There was never going to be a scenario here. No offense, but this is. When I look at your politics as an outsider, I see what I see in my politics, but yours is a bit more blunt, in that those party lines appear to be made of the very wall that Trump's supposed to be building down by Mexico.
Yes, right. Oh, and to address Hannibal pro libertate, I am a conservative centrist.
And I'm a nobody. You're welcome.
He's Squid.
Squid, what are you fucking chatting on?
Cthulhu-Kin, sorry.
Fucking hell. Smash the like
That's okay, I'm black.
I was about to say, homie. This census thing. Okay, so we do them every 10 years, right? What is? I don't know how this is a big deal. How
The census thing?
Yeah, the census being done, I get it. But it's hugely inaccurate for many reasons. The obvious one being this does not take into account the homeless. It really doesn't, and obviously it can't take into account. Sorry?
I said that's another very good point. You can't serve somebody a census if they don't have an address.
On top of that, it does not take into account those who are not here legally. Because then if they fill that in, knock, knock, knock. You should.
They won't be here for long.
Exactly. You'll be waterboarded. I don't.
No.
Oh, sorry,
Save
the wrong.
that for the
Wrong people.
The Alajuela.
Oh, right, wrong people. My mistake. Sorry, I just mixed them all up. I'm sorry. I'm colorblind after all. Okay, so we did. I don't take the census that seriously personally. Hello, Dally. I don't care for it, but I understand why it exists. I don't see how this against Barr is anything. This is the original contempt thing. It doesn't carry any weight really. It means jack. So what's the point? You're trying to other than to try and shred his integrity, which isn't working. It doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, that's the whole spiel. And like the biggest thing for me, right? When they talked about citizenship questions, so the important part about why this is, terribly concerning every 10 years or so we do this census is that if we allow illegal immigrants to sway the census, then it's possible that they then gain more power, more electoral college votes, and the districts get gerrymandered more towards the Democrats. The Democrats fear the exact opposite if the census question is allowed. However, one party has a much better leg to stand on than the other. I
don't care for those being counted as citizens on a census that is meant to be for citizens. If you're not here, especially if you're not there legally, it isn't. It doesn't benefit you in long term, because it's already been shown that there are plenty of communities who then, after a generation or two, then just start to become more conservative anyway. Because then they realise, American values, while I came here illegally, I actually quite like those values a bit more. So
let's also be honest, because there are a couple other factors into the possibility of people surveyed by the census that either don't have voting rights or, aren't citizens. So you have people who come in with work visas who neither have the ability to vote or are technically citizens, but they pay into taxes because they're basically being sponsored by a company to work there.
Yeah.
And then you have convicted felons who have forfeited their right to a federal election because they have been found guilty of a felony. So you have the argument where, okay, so does the felon deserve a representative? Well, of course, he's a U.S. citizen.
Right.
But the person who's not here, not a citizen and also can't vote, they're kind of a null pointer.
They are. So how are they becoming a point? Why are some people
Well,
trying to legitimize them? Okay, so if I go to your country and I legally enter and I just work, do I have a right to vote? No. I'm not a citizen. I don't have the right to vote. I haven't earned the right to vote, which is what people should aspire towards if they want to be a part of that country. I'm not saying you should want to vote. Obviously, if you don't want to, don't vote. Just don't moan about the political issues when you don't vote, because you don't have much.
And it's the
You have
same
no
thing,
integrity.
like the people who take residence in other universities, like University of London will take in residencies from people from our country,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
vice versa.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exchanges.
those professors don't fucking vote.
No, they do not. I don't.
So
It's like it reminds me an awful lot of the prison argument as well, about letting prisoners vote. I don't. Obviously, it's a different thing entirely for obvious reasons.
it's similar, but it leads to the same end.
Yeah. By the way, I just because I think it's quite amusing. So in my lifetime, I have signed on, I think 3 censuses. Is that the right word? Censuses? Censuses?
I
Doesn't
think
matter.
census is the word singular and plural.
All right. Well, I've signed on 3 censuses, and on all 3 occasions, because on when I first saw mine as a kid, I asked why did mine say Anglican when I was raised. This is how I first came into understanding what religion was. My mum and dad simply said that it was because it made things easier. Then had to say, how does it make it easier if I don't even know what Anglican is? So they explained it. And I said, but this means nothing to me. And they said, yes, but people aren't ready for that. And I thought it was quite funny. 10 years later, my mother brought the census to me to sign. And where religion was, it was blank. And I said, so society's ready now, is it? Fair enough. So I wrote a 4-letter word for my faith. 10 years later, I did the same thing. Do you know what I put
Part of
as
the Jedi.
I did. I'm not even a Star Wars fan. I should put Sith.
You should have been like, over the years, I've turned to the dark side.
I might, when the next census comes around, put Sith. I may do that. I've got a book of Sith, actually, in the crystal case and everything. But I did that because I don't think it... I know we want to understand the representation of religious communities in our country. I get that. But I don't give a shit. I think it was over 100,000 or 300,000 or something? That I think it's 10, maybe 20 years ago.
A lot of people wrote it.
Yeah. So many people did it, and they did it because they were trying to get recognized as a religion. Honestly, at this point, I'm all for it because it's funnier.
I think a bunch of, honestly, if you want to really like go at it, like religion and fandoms honestly could be one and the same.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Okay, so the Jedi census phenomenon was from 2001. Right, so I did my last one in 2011, so 2021 will be my next one. We'll see about that. The impact, oh my god, it wasn't just England though. It was Australia, Canada, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Ireland, Montenegro, New Zealand, Serbia, Turkey. I love it. They urged them to quote, people were urged to quote their religion as Jedi or Jedi Knight, after the quasi-religious order of Jedi Knights in the Star Wars universe. I love this. Oh, this is brilliant.
Yes. And I'm 10 out of 10 believing that Keck is going to make its appearance on the next U.S. Census.
Okay, so in Australia, in 2006, 58,000 people did Jedi. Okay, in 2000, it was up from the 2000. It was up from an earlier. In 2011, it went up to 65,000. I mean, this is tens of thousands of people. This is actually fantastic. What was it in... Okay, so in England and Wales, 390,127 in the 2001 census stated themselves as Jedi. Right? That is 2.6% of the population... Oh, no, that's not 2%. No, But yeah, it surpassed Sikhs, Jews, and Buddhists, making it the 4th largest religion in the country. Oh, that's brilliant.
I'm so happy.
Oh, I love that. I know that. Oh, in 2011 it went down to 176,000, making it 7th. But this can be fixed. It's okay. It's okay.
Sir Blue-Footed Booby, how about the religion of the Cult of Cthulhu?
Moistianity, that can be done.
I was gonna say, I believe people have written that too.
They have actually, yeah, because I've seen that on a few things. But
I
yeah.
don't think there's much that hasn't been written at this point.
Oh, Disconnect did it as well. Nice. I was at uni when I got the 2011 one. My housemates were all sat there and were like, so one of them put Wiccan. I mocked her for it. And the rest of us, we were all like, so we've put Jedi, yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm fucking be Jedi's. What not?
we all just put Jedi. But yeah, fuck it, it's done. Hello, Lulu Bell and Patriot of the God. Hope you're all well. Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favourite things that ever happened. And the census, again, the reason we did that wasn't because we wanted to be recognised as Jedi. It's the absolute ludicrous, it's the insane idea of having religion as a demographic point. To many it didn't matter. So.
Well, that's why you had some people write in just bullshit.
I'm waiting for the next one because the influx of those that recognise different genders, I'm wondering if that's going to feature in the next one. You know, you'll have sex, gender, and identity, perhaps. But I don't think they have enough of a pull or sway to be able to make that happen. What do you think?
I think they do, especially because our governments want them to have that power.
Yeah.
Like, they will have it because our government wants them to have it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So what will happen now with Barr being, again, held in contempt?
So they have to now vote on it in the whole of the House.
How will that go, do you think?
Probably not as well as it went during the committee, just because people are like, this is not important.
No, it isn't. It's
and
really...
Some, like, moderate Democrats are going to be like, no, this is stupid.
They're the ones that were willing to applaud Trump. They're not very well known. Hello, Lord Crocker Squirrel. Your co-host is right. There's going to be a massive upswing in the number of followers of the greatest god, Kek, and ethnic Kekistanis in the 2020 census. It's possible if the meme isn't totally dead by then.
I don't think it's possible at this point.
No, it's like that. No. There was a song that was doing its rounds, and everyone changed their avatar to that picture of, I think it was Albert Wesker wearing glasses. Shall we move on?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so in the UK, we currently have a leadership campaign going on. In that campaign, you have Esther McVeigh, Mark Harper, Andrea Leadsom, Rory Stewart, Matt Hancock, Sajid Javid, Dominic Raab, Michael Gove, the Snick, Jeremy Hunt, or Cunt, whichever way you like to pronounce it. The C is invisible and silent, of course. And Boris Johnson. So, the way this works, and I probably should put a picture up for it. Do I have the picture? I do as well. There we go. Right, so this is a diagram explaining how a new leadership campaign, a new leader is chosen. Each MP has to have 8 backers for them to compete. Right, and after a first round of votings where the MPs vote on they vote within the party. Matt Damon, fantastic. Anyone with less than 17 votes is eliminated from the running for Prime Minister. We have 3 already now out because they didn't have enough votes. Understandably so, and we'll get to their policies soon enough. There will be a second round. There will also be debates, though. And this is what will set up the second round of votes. Okay? Because they're going to now have to be either very public if they're not so well known, or they're going to have to be very careful if they are prone to, I don't know, putting their foot in their mouth and telling someone wearing a burqa that they look like a postbox.
Oh, he doesn't give a fuck.
He does not. The second round of voters, it comes down to 33 votes or less, you're out, or less than 33, sorry. And then, person with the fewest votes, if everyone exceeds 33, this will then go on until a postal vote of wider party members. They then select their Prime Minister. It starts with the MPs, ends with the people. Members of the party, that is. The winner of that will then be the Prime Minister. So, I should probably pull this image up. This is the current result. It looks quite damning in hindsight. Esther McVey, Mark Harper, and Andrea Leadsom are out. Okay, so I could probably tell you what their policies were, because I covered Andrea Leadsom. She indicated that she will push through with Brexit. She will not kowtow to the other parties. Mark Harper, no one has a bloody clue what his policies were. And Esther McVey was very vague. I'll be honest, no one had a clue what she was doing. Right? Rory Stewart's policies, well, he was involved in he considered putting his weight behind the vote against the motion that happened yesterday that Labour lost to take control of the parliamentary timetable and introduce legislation that would make it so that the Prime Minister, whoever the new one was, could not negotiate a no deal. Although technically, you're not negotiating no deal if no deal happens. Are you? Seriously? So Rory Stewart, the current International Development Secretary, believes no deal will be catastrophic and is undeliverable and unnecessary. He also said it is unrealistic to believe that the UK could get a deal agreed upon by the 31st of October. Naturally, this makes him look and sound very, very popular. By the way, he looks like Zippy from Rainbow. Seriously. Where's Matt Hancock? Here we are. He is the current Health Secretary. He says that leaving with no deal is not an option. He's a soft Brexiteer. So leaving or not at all are his two options. Hello, Chris Roberts. He has a 5-point Brexit plan that included setting up an Irish border council with £1 billion worth of investment to cover and develop a new system and time-limited backstop in Ireland. He also proposed negotiating a comprehensive free trade agreement, which is an argument that I've heard from Labour, which would involve leaving the single market and customs union. So he actually agrees that we should trade with the EU, but not on their terms of single market and customs union. It's not actually, in hindsight, a bad position to have. It's better than Rory Stewart, who is lucky to be there at all. Next on the list is Sajid Javid, who recently was known on the news for taking offence to the fact that he wasn't included in the Trump banquet dinner list of guests. There were limited seats. And I'll be honest.
Oh, boo-hoo!
Well, the first thing I thought was, perhaps it's not ideal to have a guy who was once called a coconut be introduced to Prince Philip, who is renowned for being racist. Hello, Dead Privacy. He said he'd focus on making changes to the backstop and would commission the UK Border Force to solve the Northern Ireland border problem, which would be paid for by the UK. How is that solving the problem by having someone else deal with the problem that is entirely your fault? He also said he can't see the circumstances where he'd want to have another extension and the country should prepare for no deal. So at least he's realistic about it. Next is Dominic Raab, the former Brexit secretary who took over from David Davis for all but, a month or two? He negotiated nothing, and he conceded and admitted that Theresa May was entirely involved and micromanaging the whole thing. Why is there a moth on my monitor? Fuck off. Anyway, it's because I've got Moon Knight on there and he's glowing. I know.
That was the greatest fucking tangent. It's like, what the fuck is this moth? Get the hell out of here.
You fucker. He wants to reopen the withdrawal agreement and renegotiate to overhaul the backstop. Right, well, the thing is, this was agreed upon before you even took office as the Brexit secretary, now backbencher, right? It was agreed in the tell the moth to hit the like button. Smash the like button, moth. He wants to renegotiate something that he didn't negotiate in the first place, and when he tried to negotiate it, he failed. And the EU have outright said, we're not negotiating. I think he's actually going near my pop vinyl of Moon Knight because it's a glow in the dark and it's glowing, and moths seem to like the moon. And there's a moon on his head, so, you know. Anyway, he says a new deal would include the vast majority of Theresa May's deal, but would replace the backstop with alternative arrangements, which is nebulous, involving advanced customs and trade measures and checks away from the border, like a neutral zone. That sounds very Federation, doesn't it? He's also said...
Yes, the Galactic Empire.
Right. He's willing to leave on WTO rules, because it is better to leave with no deal than a fatally flawed deal, where he would not rule out proroguing Parliament, which is a term which means to shut Parliament down, to prevent anyone in Parliament blocking no deal. He would be... This is why Labour went and pushed through with that, because he said that. Because he said that, Labour went off on one and introduced a bill to try and stop it. The balls on this guy. He's only got 27 votes, but considering the 3 above him, I'm not surprised. So next would be the SNEC. Where is the SNEC in my list of notes? Where are you, SNEC? Where are you? You are. The Gormless Environment Secretary. He has said he would consider a further delay, which would include, I think, to 2021, to achieve a better deal. But EU won't negotiate a new deal. So that's a load of bollocks. He also plans to negotiate a full stop to the Irish border backstop plan. I have no idea what that means. I watched his speech on this. I had no idea. Right? He's Wormtongue. He is Grima Wormtongue. The thing is, he doesn't know how to bite his forked tongue behind his teeth because his teeth are rotten. They're British, remember? He wants a free trade agreement similar to the deal between Canada and the EU, forgetting that took 7 years to negotiate. He'd also support a no-deal Brexit if he couldn't get a better deal from Brussels. Well, they're unwilling to bend on this and are themselves preparing for no deal. Oh dear. Next is the Foreign Secretary, formerly the Environment Secretary, in fact, because he got promoted when the leader of this currently stepped down. Jeremy Cunt, who said he would leave with no deal, but it is not his preferred option.
Look, that is the worst name.
Jeremy
Hunt is like, you know the name like Mike Hunt.
Yeah, basically,
like that's exactly how that.
On radio, someone accidentally called him Jeremy Cunt. It was very funny. Jeremy Hunt, he has the most punchable face of them all. He's I'd say of this. Although Gove is an obvious snake, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Jeremy Hunt's sort of snakiness is more at the public's expense, and the way he treated junior doctors in this country is absolutely abhorrent. So he wants to change the backstop and proposes sending a new negotiating team to Brussels. What the fuck does that mean? They said they won't negotiate. At this point, it is the infamous "we don't negotiate with terrorists." I don't understand. He also wants to make changes to the withdrawal agreement and thinks it's possible to get them done by the 31st October, but will not rule out the extension. But he will also said he would leave with no deal. So, yeah. Raab did talk sense. I will agree. But Raab is a virtual nobody compared to the 3 people above him. Sajid Javid I don't think he wins, but I don't think he wins because he's gone into one of the most hostile jobs and there's no way he ever looks good at it. Even if he is, at this point, considered the token minority. By the way, there's no ladies in this list now, unless we include Gove, who's a bit of a snack. Could be a lady snack. Pretty vicious. So now we've got all those out of the way. The current front-runner winner, at the moment, is Boris Johnson. But I will say this now for clarity's sake. Just because he's got that many votes at the first stage of voting means literally dick. People think this is a huge thing. It really isn't. And we'll certainly talk about his policies in a second. But I should say why this means nothing. Right, so in the past, there have been some people who have gone for these jobs. And every time, they have gotten utterly messed up in the next voting sort of round. Okay? Oh, I've got who it was. Like Michael Portillo did it once, and he lost in the second round or something. David Davis, I think, even went for the leadership role, and he was in the lead after the first round, and then got destroyed in the second round. Being first does not mean you are good enough. Oh, hang on, I got the exact numbers. In 2005, David Davis was in the same position as Boris Johnson, and he went on to lose. In 2001, it was Michael Portillo, who then failed to make it to the final two. So being first does not mean much at the moment. But it is a huge step in a direction to show you just how powerful he is. Goodbye, Divine Potato. Thank you for joining us. With this vote, though, it also does say, while the party was divided, now there are 30 additional votes freed up. The next round's going to be rather interesting because, and we'll talk about, I'll talk about Boris's policies in a second. Because the second round is where Boris got undone last time by the snake. Because the snake in the second round stabbed him in the back. He was basically like an insect riding on the back, a scorpion riding on the back of an otter, and the otter being Boris, him being the scorpion. He decided to stab him because it's in his nature. You know, it's just that.
I just saw a post about that earlier today, and it was a scorpion riding a frog, and it was like,
It's that.
"But
It's
where's
that.
you gonna stab me?"
It's that idiom. It really is. And it's just tragic because Gove. If I'm not saying Boris would have done a better job if he was chosen back then in 2015 when he should have, or 2016, sorry. We don't know. We really don't. But the fact he has retained so much power, right? He's still, an absolute force within his party, and he's consistently been that. Hello, Joshua Patterson. Even if all of those 30 votes were given to Jeremy Hunt, Johnson would still have big... Yeah, he would. But this is only the first round, which is why the second round is so important, because now they're going to start debating. And this is important for Boris, because he's only done the one thing. He's only done the one announcement that he was running for PM. It was the Back Boris campaign, and that was it. Because he has a tendency to stick his foot in his mouth. The less he does, the more appealing he is. Although I will say he's quite appealing because he's very funny. So his current policies are to leave on the 31st with or without a deal. He does admit that no deal will cause some disruption, but says the way to get a good deal is to prepare for no deal. And yeah, a lot of people hate Jeremy with a passion, Lulu, I promise you. He's so punchable. He also wants to remove the backstop from any deal and replace it with the vague term of alternative arrangements. I don't know what they are. I do like Rob's idea, it's not so bad. But again, it's like a fob-off. It doesn't really actually explain too much. I do like the idea of checks away from the border. That kind of makes... others use it anyway. You got it in Russia with Kaliningrad and all that. He says he would withhold the £39 billion divorce payment as part of the negotiated deal, because he believes the money should be retained until there is a greater clarity about the way forward, which I also agree with. Hello, Chris Roberts. I don't personally... I know we have responsibilities, legally binding responsibilities, but unless we know what's going on, then no, we shouldn't be paying into something we don't understand. And this is uncharted waters here. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to end up. With this all going on, you've got Jeremy Corbyn begging for a general election in the middle of a leadership campaign. Even though he knows the rules, the party won the right to be in charge of the country for 5 years. But he thinks it's based on the leader of the party. If that was the case, he'd be screwed within a year, because there's no way he'd survive another vote of no confidence, which he only survived the first time because he was too stubborn to actually concede that he lost it.
They have a decision in that?
Somewhere, yeah.
That seems kind of bullshit.
It is a bit, yes. So, it was within the party as opposed to outside. The way this is going to go forward now, I don't know if any of these will be televised, the debates that is, but if they are, I am going to do videos on this channel based on them. Obviously, I've got plenty of things to talk about, and I'm quite happy to make videos now on this channel. It's good fun. But it'd be very interesting to see who survives next, because this will now come down. It's not going to be about popularity within the party. It's going to be tactics. I do not see Rory Stewart and Matt Hancock winning. There are people backing them. It's not going to work. Ruth Davidson of the Scottish Conservatives backs Sajid Javid. I don't think he's going to win either. I think the only way anyone is going to be able to be up there with Boris is if they team up. But to team up, they're going to have to approach this a little bit differently. Michael Gove and Jeremy Hunt could work together because they both would agree an extension could be the way forward. Because they both do think a delay could happen. But at least Hunt would be willing to do no deal if it had to happen. But I don't think that would. I don't think Raab would work with Gove, or Hunt for that matter. Possibly Hunt, actually. So I don't... This, for the second round, is going to come down to those debates. It's like your... Okay, so I've seen this with some of your presidential campaigns, where some people have lost campaigns on the debate night, on like a main debate night itself. Where it's just the case that they weren't good enough, and they lost. And because of it, people just said, no, you've lost the campaign, fuck it, you're over.
Pretty much.
I do think, now that McVeigh, Leadsom and Harper are out, they are going to throw their names behind someone. I think Leadsom might throw a weight behind Johnson. McVeigh might as well, actually. I have no idea about Harper. I don't even know who he is. Hell, I didn't know who Rory Stewart was until I saw Rainbow. Matt Hancock, no, he's not. It's not happening. It's why the only name people talk about is Johnson. Because when they look at the list of those on there, the only one that interests them, that appeals to them, appeals to everyone. You look at the thumbnail for this stream. I chose him doing that face. And you know why? Because he's like Theresa May. He'll have a go and look like a fool doing it. But he doesn't give a shit. Which makes him more appealing to people. And yes, Boris should just not show up so he can't mess it up. You're quite right. I think I think he'll do well in the debates. Because he's a very smart man. But it depends on who those people now, the remaining 7 people, ally with. If they're only interested in themselves, they will all lose to Boris. Because he's an outsider anyway. If Raab put his name behind Johnson, I think Raab would get a job in the cabinet. I think he should, actually. I don't think Gove should. I think Gove should be sent to the backbenches and stay there for the rest of his career, like the good sneck that he is. Jeremy Hunt should probably consider... He'll probably come second, to be fair. And I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson gave him a high position in his cabinet afterwards. With this vote, it also has the worry with those who are currently in the current government's cabinet. There are many who are saying they won't serve under Johnson. So, okay. See ya. Philip Hammond.
What can they do?
Well, yeah. When someone else gets elected, if they will do what they want. So you probably won't have the job in the first place unless you're the best person for the job, in which case it might be a good idea to accept it for as long as you are an MP, unless you think you can sabotage what they do from within. Although I would say if you disagree with them and they want you to work with them or for them, then the only way to really affect change would be to take the job, and at least then you have the chance to talk to them to possibly convince them. I don't think you can with Boris, to be fair. He's pretty set in his ways. But it'd be very interesting to see how this goes forward now. I was going to do a video on this for tomorrow, but in hindsight, this is the best idea for this stream, to be fair. Because I don't see how they're going to go forward with this. I was going to play some clips of each of the candidates giving their speeches, but I don't want to get another copyright strike. Most of those videos are on the Guardian's YouTube page. So fuck them.
Fuck you, Guardian. Copyrighted. Don't at me, bitch.
Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. I maybe let's just
use that.
Yeah, fuck
India
it.
will demonetize you.
Oh, I don't. I don't care. The thing, interestingly, on this channel, I put these political videos here because when I put them on the main channel, they get demonetized instantly. Right? Not a single one has been so far. In fact, the only thing that has been demonetized recently was the stream we did last week on Trump's state visit.
If it has Trump's name, we always get demonetized.
Oh yes, it's understandable that it would, but it's tragic at the same time. I kind of wish it wouldn't. But I can't force that kind of crap. I don't mind though. I just need to work on the main channel and try and fix a few things over there.
That's all right.
Mm.
I did have one more topic that we can kind of bullshit on as we finish out the stream here, if you're up for.
It's not the castration thing, is it?
No, it's actually about the fallout to the Vox word.
Let's talk about that then.
So, have you been keeping up with it?
I noticed some channels disappearing.
Well, some channels disappeared, yeah. But interestingly enough, a lot of left-wing channels started disappearing.
Okay, then. Do you have a list?
No. I don't think most people actually have a list because a lot of small creators. But I know that the Progressive Voice at one point had had his video struck down, criticizing Crowder's criticism of Mazza, which was interesting.
So I could probably give you a list.
Yeah, Black.
Here we go. There is a list of dangerous channels. Have you heard of this?
No.
Channels deemed dangerous, and they are obviously also on BitChute. The list, I can give you the whole list of those channels deemed dangerous, if you like. And obviously since... Right, so... Tommy Robinson, Sargon of Akkad, Infowars, Mark Dice, The Thinkery, Stephen Crowder, Rebel Media, Sinatra Says, Wrangle Star, Jordan Peterson, Stefan Molyneux, Brittany Pettibone, The White House Channel, Razor Fist, Faith Goldie, Bombard's Body Language, Daisy Cousins, Black Pigeon Speaks, Project Veritas, Laura Luma, Soph, which is Lieutenant Corbis formerly, Cernovich, Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, Paul Joseph Watson, Barbara For You to See, Laura Towler, Lauren Southern, Pat Condell, whose videos are astonishing since he just talks directly for a few minutes, Michelle Mulkin, The Red Elephants, Tim Pool, Styx, and Computing Forever. Forever.
You know what's weird? I follow most of those channels.
So do I. I follow a lot of those channels, but I also follow a lot of channels that disagree with them. And actually, I got this list off my screen here from the Thinkery Sargon of Akkad's second other channel, where it's titled Black Pigeon Speaks has been banned. I will link the video because it's quite concerning what's going on. And yes, so Lord Croco Squirrel, yes, I'm very much aware of this. I saw Twitter. I did notice many were saying that no reason was given. Please continue, Trups, with this, because this is just weird.
Well, so yeah, a lot of people have been going down, but for the catalyst of this whole thing, Crowder and Mazza has honestly been taking a lot of heat from it, and Crowder has had more people sign up for his Mug Club
yeah.
than in like the last week than he has.
I did notice on his video he said that people were not taking advantage of the 30% discount that he offered because they wanted him to get the full amount, and that was really nice. But also he then reinforced it by saying, no, take the discount. Prospero, I know Tail Feature got demonetized, but I don't know if he got demonetized because of his content or because he's not very active and didn't meet the criteria. You know what I mean? I never bothered to ask him, and I really should, whether or not it was because he didn't get 4,000 hours in the last 12 months or not. Because you have to be really active to hit that. Like on this channel, I have to average about. I have to do at least 2 streams a week, I guess, or because the video's not. But you still have to be active to do it. It was because of his content. Oh right, well in that case, then that's just it. Maybe is. Oh, I know why. Guilt by association.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I'm very sorry about that, Tailed. I know you have a job and everything, so you know at least you're not. At least in that context, you're not being hit in that way. I would tell him to start a new channel, though, and I'd gladly shill the fuck out of it for him. So yes, I'm very sorry for Tailed in that regard. What do you think about all of this, though? The channels being destroyed, deleted, and struck down, and all that?
So I'm from a very interesting point of view on this thing. I'm one of the people who has a full-time job and then also does YouTube as a hobby. Would I love to do YouTube as a career? Absolutely. Do I recognize that other people do it as a career? Yes. However, it concerns me greatly that this is all some people have. Um, in terms of either skills or their ability to then apply those skills in another way. For example, most people here on YouTube have created, edited, recorded, edited some more video. So you have a potential to work for, audio engineer, you know, video editing and all that kind of stuff. Like you can find jobs that way.
Right.
So a lot of my initial concern over this was, well, what happens if somebody gets demonetized? How likely is it that they can go get a job? Well, people like Dankula, it's kind of a very specific and unfortunate circumstance. We all know how that works, and Tommy Robinson is similar. That's not the same for a lot of the other people who don't have their names attached to their accounts.
Right.
So the free speech censoring, whether it is Republican or Democrat, left or right, I disagree with. And it's a hard one to kind of go with because remember how we were talking last week about them commenting on borderline content but not really expanding on what that was?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still really concerned about what that means. And then the informative sources.
Yeah.
These are two things that I worry about because I don't want to see YouTube go the way of Hulu or Netflix or any of the sort.
But everyone thinks that they will.
Yeah, well, I do too because they are the best monetized streaming platform.
Isn't that just sad? Because many are
It
now
is.
already starting to say that they think that YouTube is going down that path and therefore many will just be deleted. And that's scary
I
because
think I
many
honestly
work
do
really
think so.
hard to try and succeed. And you mentioned limit the skills thing. I turned to this because I was, not because I had work, but I was poor. I didn't turn to it for money. I just saw it as an opportunity for me to try and be creative. And now it
Right,
is,
and
I have
that's
a
the
job.
part where it starts.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a job and I still make my own real money. So this to me is a hobby, but it's a relatively profitable one. But then knowing that at every opportunity you're kind of being taken down a peg, it feels incredibly demoralizing. Like, so every time they alter the algorithm, and you know it's happening, this really upsets me to an extent because I build an audience of dedicated viewers, which is what I really like, because then I can engage with them on a regular basis, not just those on Discord, but all those in the comments. Where every time they fuck with it, my views go down by huge amounts. Like today, it went from I was averaging 5,000 views, now gone down to 1,500. I now need to find a way to put it back where it was because and then I get comments from people saying I was unsubbed from you. Can you please stop messing with the algorithm because you're not fixing the problem, you're just creating new ones. I don't want to vent about that too much because
Well,
then
I
I'll just
mean,
sound bitchy.
they have to create problems, or else they don't need it. They have to admit that we don't need them.
Yeah, but I like what I do, but it is quite demoralizing whenever I do what I do. Someone is trying constantly to stop me, and I think that's really unfair. I did notice a spike on BitChute of followers. Like I think I gained about 100 followers in the last 2 days. Just hit over 2,000 followers on that, subscribers now, which is brilliant. A fifth of the way towards a bronze plaque. That's brilliant. But
What's interesting is I don't know if you've actually no, I know you've noticed this. Whenever you upload a video,
I
have
lose
you
subs.
noticed a sharp? Yeah,
Yeah, I lose
I
subs every
lose
time.
subs when I upload.
Yeah, every time here as well. But I also notice that my viewership, I don't know if it's because I moved political stuff away or because I'm not doing it at the right time, but I'm losing viewership as well, and I need to work that out, whether it's because of me or whether it's because of the content or whether it's because of timing or whether, hello Okie Native, or whether it is something else. I get notifications now when we're like 5 minutes away from the end of the stream. This is tragic. I do apologize. I'm gonna vent for a little bit because I don't like to moan about this because I am eternally grateful for what I have. I look at my room. I look at all like the guitars I bought and all the nice things I own now, and the comfort I have obtained because I was able to take money I earned from this and make my life better, which was a huge gift, you know? It made me feel so proud and accomplished that I was able to put myself in a position where I was no longer living on something like £5 a week, and that was for everything I ever had to live on. You know, that was hard. Those years were the hardest. So this, to me, tells me it's almost a self-made thing, you know? You work hard. I've always believed hard work pays off. But then YouTube comes around with this. And I have to say it's YouTube because they're not talking. They never talk. They never talk to the creators. They then every year put out surveys saying they want to hear from the creators, but they never actually talk to the creators. Right? And it always comes down to they do something without us knowing, and when we find out, it's too late. When they try and implement something, we only find out when they've implemented it, and it always hits the smaller ones negatively. I still think I'm a small creator. I still believe that, because I am, compared to the creators they support, none of whom are, well, any of the real big ones, because they're not PG enough. They threw their weight behind T-Series and called them the biggest YouTube channel, even though they're they're a monstrous multinational company. Your biggest creator is PewDiePie. Get real. They don't actually care about creators. And we know this because of what we've seen every year. The biggest convention of YouTubers isn't even run by YouTube. It's run by the isn't it run by the Fine Brothers or something?
Yeah, but they're assholes too.
They are. But it's run by someone else. Because YouTube don't care about the creators. Every time I upload, I lose subscribers, and I somehow regain them over the day, which is nice. And I'm obviously very proud that people still come back. I'm very proud that I still get thousands of views on videos. But then as the views go down, I then have to start evaluating whether it's the content I make, the topics I cover, the time of day I put it out, or whether I'm being pushed by something else. And when I see the something go down, I then take those same values and start to apply it there as well. I start to overthink and stress because I think that it's my fault. But then based on the responses I get on videos and the number of people who constantly tell me in Facebook DMs, Twitter DMs and YouTube comments that they're being unsubscribed from me, I think it's an absolute joke that YouTube will continue to promote itself as being all about the creators while simultaneously doing everything they can to delete creators for wrongthink, a purity test, any excuse they can think of because they don't want to be associated because of that dreaded guilt by association causing many advertisers to pull out. Like, I think anyone with a mind of, well, let's say an IQ over maybe 3 or 4 would care so much as if you're associated with somebody, that means you're also guilty of it. It's just stupid at this point. And yes, I use Facebook, but only to upload content now. I get a lot of face messages from people, so I reply to them. I'm polite, okay? Also, Undoom told me to get it, and I've just kept it ever since for the last 4 years. I think when I put so the only videos I do on my channel that get traction and help me are the really long format videos. But then when I spend months making one and I get demonetized instantly, the demoralization just absolutely hits you really hard. Now, granted, I expected it with the most recent video, and I am working in the background on the next video being a very polite video, but then I can't rely on making those videos all the time because they are incredibly taxing. And so I want to talk about things I find interesting in the news. But apparently, doing that doesn't... I mean, to whatever it is that's trying to harm me, apparently what I do should be silenced, which I feel like it is that. That's how it comes across to me, that instead of my subscribers and those who hit the notification bell seeing my video, you know, it's a case that they don't get to see anything because, well, we know it's the case that they don't get to see it at all. We know this because there were statements given to Keemstar of Drama Alert where it said that if people didn't hit the subscription button and the notification, but didn't watch every video that person put out, they would be filtered as a lower priority through the current algorithm system. What was the point of introducing the notification bell? Because eventually you're going to have to replace that with another form of notification system. Meaning that once that one is also obsolete, you'll have to introduce another one. So people will stop saying, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Then they'll say, hit the star, moon, and holy cross. Oh, and when we're done with those, just hit the holy hand grenade of Antioch. Fuck it. Hallelujah. Nuke the fucking site at this point. We know they're going to
get under new management, because like you, I have the same problem where if I upload, I almost immediately see a drop of 2 or 3 subs.
Right.
Now I only have like some 500, so
that doesn't matter.
Every single one sub bothers me.
Yeah, so that's actually a really important point. You are a fuck off moth. You are a much smaller creator than me, yes, but you are still just as important. It doesn't matter how big your channel is. If you are making regular content, you should not be put in a position where the only way you're ever noticed is if you're uploading as many videos as sticks. By the way, I'm technically doing that on this channel and the main channel. Doesn't mean shit though. The only channel actually showing any reasonable growth is this one. I really don't understand it. Although my social blade is misleading. I think people are still trickling in from the Amber and Reed video, but they're not sticking around because they only really liked me calling someone a fat cunt for an hour. No offense, but seriously.
Did your screen just change?
What do you mean?
The stream image is now back onto the conservative leader.
Oh, I was switching things up for a second because I wanted to put I was going to put Tailed Features Gaelic Curse video up, but I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it because I can't be bothered.
But no, like when I upload, because I'll upload like at like bullshit o'clock at night sometimes, especially lately because I've been working. But I did I upload a video, and usually within the first 30 minutes, I have 2 of like the most dedicated followers like putting in comments.
Yeah, I see it. I have the notification bell. I see your video. I have it on in the background. I always see it.
Right. And I see them. And one of the comments that I got recently was kind of distressing. It was that the stream I had done with Badger, he didn't even know that I had uploaded it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, first of all, I told you. Second of all,
Hellblazer Jane just resubscribed to you. Congratulations, you've gained one of your subs back.
I'm sorry that is something that you have to do.
Don't be sorry.
I appreciate doing it.
Don't be sorry for that, because by then you were acknowledging something that isn't even your fault to begin with. I think it's a case of, I think you should tweet directly to YouTube and ask them for an apology. Everyone, hashtag YouTube say sorry.
Honestly, though, because I do look at my YouTube app, and when I see
Creator Studio,
just where I have 1 sub, 2 subs, I'm fucking ecstatic.
Yeah, no, you should be. I obviously don't have a leg to stand on because I can pull up my social blade. I know I'm doing okay because I know that Amber and Reed video did really well for me. I knew it would. I knew it would do better if it had been monetized, which is what I was really interested in, because then I would be like the first one. I was getting hundreds of subs every day for like a month. I'm still in the double digits. I'm over the moon. I really am. I'm not for a second going to say I'm upset by this. But I find it quite irritating that no matter how hard I work, there's always something there, and it could be that I'm not making fresh content. It really could be that. Or that I'm not pouncing on a hot topic, or not approaching it from that lens. Like, I will always take a very calm, neutral approach to a lot of things, which isn't what people want. They want outlandish, outrageous, angry, abusive, obnoxious. They want that, right? But it's not in my nature, which is why having a dedicated audience means so much to me, because then I know those people will keep coming back and I will keep talking to them. And I always want to talk to them because they're good to me. They always have been good to me. They have been there since day one. Even my first subscriber, Joseph Stalin, he still pops up from time to time, and that's a fantastic feeling to know that after 4 years he's still there, you know. And I think it's it's insulting when you then find out that same first subscriber, who you know is your first subscriber, has been unsubscribed at least 4 times. It absolutely pisses me off that people are having to go to extreme lengths because they think I've quit YouTube. I'm one of the very few people who could have been argued to be a member of the skeptic community who's still here. One of those people who's also pigeonholed as an anti-SJW, who is still here. Because the apocalypse didn't scare me off. I wasn't motivated by money, I wanted to succeed. The money part is just a happy coincidence. You know, a nice little reward for trying.
For your efforts.
Yeah, but I didn't make it a thing. It's why I don't stick. Like, I make videos that qualify to have many ads inserted into them, but I don't. Instead, I have the one at the beginning where it always is, and one right at the end. And one of those, because people still love the outro, but it's incredibly long, I put one right on the outro time. That way, people who don't want to watch it can just go. It's not cheeky. It's not abusing the system. And you know, that's nice. It usually is when CPM's not dead. But it's not nice when you keep getting told, and have been for years, that people are being unsubscribed from you. Because then they say, oh, I need to go back and watch all your stuff. I'm like, don't bother at this point. You're probably going to be unsubscribed in the next week. I can't be asked with it. It's demoralising. Honestly. It really is. I'm very sorry that
it is.
You've had to resubscribe 3 times. Exactly, Ventilla. I'm really sorry you have. In fact, I shouldn't be apologising either, like Trups was earlier.
Wait a second.
Hang on a sec. Let me just be a hypocrite for a moment.
I'll forgive you for now.
It is demoralising, and it doesn't make me want to stop, but it makes me want to put less effort into it. And I don't want to put less effort into it. I made it a point to constantly try and evolve and improve. I don't want to stop. That's
my biggest thing, because like I want to do other things than just talk about news.
Yeah.
I want to do more stuff, but it's very demoralizing when it feels like if I try to, like, say, branch out into doing gaming streams, you know, the thing that I spent most of my fucking life at home doing.
Yeah.
I don't want the output to just lead to more suffering of my channel because I'm trying to do more.
Yeah. So I can understand that. It's why I made other channels, so I could try and branch out a bit. Okie Native, yes, perhaps the subject wasn't ideal, maybe. Although I did think personally blackmailing a band that's known for throwing away their albums for free was interesting. But I plan my videos in advance, and I've got 3 pages here in my notebook for the next 2 videos, because I bothered to sit down and go through it. It's littered with post-it notes. I need to go through a few things for them, but I changed the time so I could be a bit more energetic, and I'm trying to improve. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
I think that's just YouTube putting us down. It's the man.
Maybe, although Okie Native might have a point. Radiohead aren't exactly current. But if I go and have a quick look at something, because I think you might be wrong to an extent. People think they're a dead band at this point. But if I go to their current discography, they're still selling millions of records for every album they put out. In fact, their last album was 2016, and it sold over 1 million copies. So I don't think it's a valid argument to say it's because they're, anyone who thinks they are a dead band, 'cause I had some comments saying they are, I think you're wrong. I don't personally care for their music. I just thought the blackmail thing was funny. Never mind. I've rambled for 15 minutes. I'm very sorry. We should have ended this 15 minutes ago, so I didn't end up looking like a little bitch. I'm waiting for somebody on Twitter. I know who it is. DM Lamont, who I had to mute because he just pissed me off. Who will say, "Oh look, 2 right-wingers on a stream moaning about not getting enough attention."
I'm a centrist, you piece of shit.
Yeah. So Leo Wolfish, I know your name. I've seen you around a lot. Hello, Leo Wolfish.
In the last 2 videos I did on my channel, I advocated for sex work and then complained that they weren't doing enough for the citizens of the United States. Go fuck yourself. Casually.
Lol. Before we finish, Yeah. By the way, I did mute DM Lamont because he just every time I tweeted anything innocuous, I could have written "I like toast" and he would have turned it into a political spin. I just troll. No, fuck off. Before we finish, do you want to shill anything?
Well, I actually just did. So on
Subscribe to
Monday, I
Traps.
did a video advocating for sex work and how New York is pushing a bill for that. And then yesterday, I put out a video about the whole census thing. If you want more information,
Link to his channel in the description below. Please hit the subscribe button. I have a video coming out on this channel tomorrow morning. I'll be putting out a video on the main channel tomorrow as well. There is a premiere for the next creepypasta, which is on the Descendant H.P. Lovecraft tale, and I'll be streaming Eurotruck tomorrow. So, busy day tomorrow. I do actually need to talk to you about that because I'm still waiting for that audio file from you.
oh yeah, right.
Because the video for that is for next week. I've got everything except for your voice work.
I'll do that over the weekend. Sorry
Sweet.
about that.
That's all good. Hello, Vince. Sorry you're late. Well, you go. Sorry, we're finishing actually. But yes, please check out Trups' channel. Thank you all for joining us. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.